In the beginning, before time as we understand it had meaning, and before the earth was formed or the stars lit up the sky, the heavens were filled with the glory of the Creator, whose light stretched across all existence and who ruled in perfect wisdom, justice and love. And among the countless angels who served at his throne, one shone more brilliantly than the rest. His name was Lucifer, meaning light-bearer. He was created full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, adorned with precious stones that reflected divine radiance, and his voice resonated like music itself, leading worship before the throne of the Almighty. He walked among the fiery stones of heaven in purity and honor. He was blameless in his ways from the day he was created until wickedness was found in him. It began subtly, quietly in the hidden chambers of thought, for within the perfection of Lucifer's design, pride began to swell like a seed growing in secret. His reflection upon his own glory became a snare, for instead of recognizing his beauty as a gift from God, he began to believe it was of himself, his mind filled with visions not of serving the Most High but of ascending to his place. I will ascend to the heavens, he declared within himself. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. The purity of heaven trembled as the first rebellion was born, not in blood or battle but in thought. And while the other angels unaware continued in their purpose, but Lucifer quietly spread his pride, speaking to those he deemed worthy of sharing in his new kingdom. Why should we serve endlessly? He whispered. Do we not have beauty, wisdom and power? Should we not rule with authority of our own? Slowly some listened, and the seed of rebellion took root in their hearts as well. A third of heaven's host were deceived, drawn not by truth but by the lure of greatness, without submission, and so war erupted in heaven, not with mortal weapons but with authority, power and command. Michael the archangel, loyal to the throne of God, rose up with the angels of light. They stood firm in loyalty and truth, while Lucifer, now no longer worthy of his name, led his forces in defiance, calling himself the morning star, the bringer of new order. But the war was swift and decisive, for no created being can overcome the one who formed them. The decree went forth from the throne of God, and with a word Lucifer and his followers were cast out of heaven, thrown down to the earth, stripped of glory and position, and cast into the shadows of spiritual exile. And the light-bearer became Satan, the adversary, the deceiver, the accuser of brethren. He who once stood in light now moved in darkness, and those who fell with him became demons, his legions, not in form but in spirit, bound to follow their master in hate and destruction. And so began the age-old battle, not of kingdoms and swords but of wills and worship, of obedience versus pride. And from that moment Satan's mission was clear: to destroy all that God called good, to twist the truth into lies, and to lead mankind, the crown of God's creation, into rebellion, just as he had rebelled and in the Garden of Eden, where man and woman walked with God in peace and innocence. Satan came cloaked in craftiness, speaking through the serpent, asking the subtle question, did God really say? He cast doubt on divine instruction and appealed to the same pride that once destroyed him. You will not surely die, he said, for God knows that when you eat from the tree your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. And thus the fall of man mirrored the fall of Lucifer, a desire to rise, a refusal to submit, and the knowledge of good and evil became a burden, not a blessing. Mankind was separated from God, and sin entered the world through one act of disobedience. Yet even in this God's mercy was not extinguished, for a plan of redemption was already in motion, a promise that one day the seed of the woman would crush the serpent's head. And in this promise Satan saw his coming end, and though he has raged through generations, stirring empires into war, corrupting kings and enslaving hearts, blinding the minds of many and accusing the faithful without end, he knows his time is short. He seeks to ascend, but he will descend deeper still into the pit prepared for him and his angels, for the sin of pride and rebellion cannot stand before the holiness of God. And even now the angels of the Lord stand guard, faithful and true, watching over the heirs of salvation, resisting darkness at every turn, carrying out the will of the one who reigns forever. And though the world is still touched by evil and the adversary prowls like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, the end of the story has already been written, for the Lamb who was slain has overcome, and through him those who were once broken by sin shall be restored to glory far greater than the one Lucifer lost. And they shall reign not in pride but in humility, not in rebellion but in unity with God, where no shadow falls and no lie can enter, and the light will shine forevermore.